what is machine learning. And if you see what is the definition of machine learning, or if you try to understand what is machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence which provides machines the ability to learn automatically and improve from experience without being explicitly programmed. Okay, so many people think that machine learning is pre-programmed, but it is not pre-programmed. So generally, how the scenario works is, for example, guys, when you are kids, okay, so when you are in your LKG or when you're first class, what happens? Teachers used to sit with you and they used to teach you. How they used to teach you is they show the images of apple and says that this is apple. They show the images of orange and says that this is orange, and they show images of cherry and say that this is cherry. And the moment if you see the image of apple or the image of orange or the image of cherry, you start recognizing that that is apple, that is orange, and that is cherry. Okay. So what is exactly happening is your teachers are feeding you with some data, with the data of images of different fruits. Okay. Similarly, the same thing happens in the machine learning. To the model, what we do is we feed data, and based upon the data, the decisions will be taken based upon the information, whatever that is there inside the data. Okay. So that's how the decisions will be made, and that's how the analyzations will be done. So if you see, the definition of machine learning, the machine learning is nothing but it is a subset of artificial intelligence. The first point what you have to remember is it is a subset of artificial intelligence, and which provides machine to learn automatically and improve from experience without being explicitly programmed. So we are not programming from outside. Okay, so we give data to the machines, to the models, and the model has to learn automatically and has to improve from that learning thing. Okay, learning phase. That is what machine learning is. Okay, and if you see, we have various types of machine learnings. So if you see, we have something called as supervised learning, we have something called as unsupervised learning, and we have something called as reinforcement learning. Okay, so these are the broadly main three categories of machine learning: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Okay, so if you see what is supervised learning and what is unsupervised learning and what is reinforcement learning. So supervised learning is a method in which we teach machines using labeled data. So an example is like in our childhood days, the teachers used to sit with us and they used to guide us and they used to teach the things. Okay. So supervised learning is such a similar way of learning, like there will be a guidance. Okay. And once you grow up, what happens is you try to learn things upon your own. So in unsupervised learning, the same thing happens. So the machines will be trained with unlabeled data and without any guidance. Okay. So this term, labeled data and unlabeled data. So if you observe the terms labeled data and unlabeled data, so regarding these terms labeled data and unlabeled data, I will in the coming up session I will explain you taking with the example. But just as if now, keep in your mind that in supervised learning there will be a guidance, and in unsupervised learning there won't be any guidance. Okay, and next if you see reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning is something. Okay, suppose for example, guys, if you are dropped at an isolated place or in an isolated island, so what happens first? You will initially you will get panic, and later on, what you do is you will search for alternative routes to come out of that island. Okay, so reinforcement learning is such type of thing where agent will interact with environment and has to do certain actions and all. So an example is, for example, self-driving cars. Guys. Okay, self-driving cars. What happens if it sees red signal? It has to stop. If it is not stopping, that means it is not working. Okay, so that is what reinforcement learning. Okay, fine. Just a moment, guys. Ranjit, we are getting disturbance from your end. Please mute yourself. So I repeatedly saying is when the session goes on, make sure that you mute your laptops, or make sure that they won't get any disturbances, because the session will be getting recorded and these recordings will be supplemented to you. Fine. Next time, if any disturbances comes, you will be removed from the meeting. That is for sure. So this is what supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. Fine. And we had seen what type of problem statements. Okay, so what type of problem statement does this supervised and supervised reinforcement learning will do? So in the last session, we had seen, okay, that supervised learning deals with two types of problems. One is regression and another is classification. Okay. So what is regression and what is classification? Let us see. So yesterday I had told you with an example. So what is regression and what is classification? So regression means finding a numeric output. Case regression means finding a numeric output. Fine. So if you see here, I have a problem statement. What is that problem statement? I want to predict how many runs India will score in a match. Okay. So for that, what I'm doing, I'm taking past 10 matches data and I'm analyzing what will be India scoring on that particular match. Okay. So if you see here, the output is in a form of a number 260. Let us take another example. Suppose I want to find out what is the stock value of TCS going to be today. So what I'm doing for that, I'm taking past 15 days data or 20 days data or 1 month data of TCS stock value, and I'm predicting what the value is going to be. Fine. So the value is nothing but it is a numeric. Okay. It is a number. Suppose if you want to predict what is the gold price going to be. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm taking past 6 months data of the gold price and I'm finding what is the price going to be. So if you see the output, it is again in a form of a number. Okay. So when you want to find an output where the output is in a form of a number, then we use something called as regression. So regression deals with the output which will be in a form of a number. Okay. And coming to classification. Okay. So supervised learning. So this classification comes under supervised learning. Fine. And here I have a problem statement. What is the problem statement? Whether Modi will win the election or not. So we have two possibilities, yes or no. So what I'm doing, I am converting this S into 1 and no into 0. So I am making it as a binary output. Okay. So there are only two possibilities, whether he will win the election or he will lose the election. Fine. So here output is in a form of a binary one. Okay. And for example, I want to find out, I want to predict whether India will win the match or not. Again, the output is in a form of a binary one. So it is 0 and 1. Okay. So when you found an output which is in a form of, okay, a binary one, then what you will do, you will use classification. So classification is used to find an output which is in a form of a binary. Okay. So that is what is called as classification. And do remember, both this classification and regression, they comes under supervised learning. Okay. So both classification and regression, what happens? They comes under supervised learning. Okay. So now let us see. Let us see unsupervised learning. Okay, so what is unsupervised learning and what type of problems does unsupervised learning deals with? Okay, so if you see here on the screen, unsupervised learning deals with two types of problems. One is association and another is clustering. So unsupervised learning deals with two types of problems. One is association and another is clustering. So now let us try to understand what is association and what is clustering, guys. Okay, so come here. So I have a blank slide here. What I'm doing, let me take a blank slide or come here. Unsupervised learning. Okay. So unsupervised learning, it consists of two things, guys. First one is association, and second one is clustering. So association and clustering. Okay. So now let us try to understand what is association. So let us try to understand what is association. So let us try to understand what is association. So for that, what I'm doing is I'm taking an example. Okay. Consider I have a data set. Consider I have a data set. So if you see here, let me go here. Let me open my data sets. Go to the data sets folder. Groceries. Where is groceries? Okay, let me open. Fine. So if you see here, we have a data set where there is different customers details and what they had purchased. Okay. For example, here we have customer one. So customer one has purchased citrus fruit, semi-furnished beans, ready soups and all. Second first customer topical fruit, yogurt, coffee and all. Third customer. So here we have a data where the data consists of what the customers has purchased in our supermarket today. Okay. So now what the thing is, guys, I have a supermarket data where in the data it consists of various customers what they had purchased and all. Okay. So that is the data with us. So if you see here, customer one. So what is the thing is customer one is there. Customer one. So customer one has purchased eggs. Okay. So he has purchased onions. Fine. He has purchased potato. Okay. He has purchased milk. Fine. He has purchased rice. I have another customer, customer two. So customer two has purchased apple. He has purchased mango. He has purchased tomato. He has purchased eggs. Okay. And then he has purchased fish. I have another customer. So he has purchased pineapple. He has purchased cherry. He has purchased bread. He has purchased meat. Okay. And he has purchased eggs. Fine. I have another customer, customer four. So he has purchased something called as tell any name guys, red chilies. Okay, so he has purchased red chilies and then vegetable, some leafy vegetable, and then he has purchased the fish. He has purchased eggs. He has purchased onion. Next, another customer. So another customer, he has purchased eggs, onions, bread. Okay. So he has purchased apple and fish. Okay. So this is the data. This is the data of the customers, what they had purchased. Okay. So now the thing is, looking at this data, could you tell me what is the highest sold product?
Eggs.
highest sold product. Okay, X, 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 X. So in our supermarket, what is the highest sold product? X. Fine. So what is the second highest sold product? Second highest sold product?
Onions.
Onions. Okay, fine. Now let us look for the combination. Okay, which combination is highest sold? Which combination? Like take two combinations. For example, what I'm doing, I'm taking eggs and onions. So how many times eggs and onions were repeated?
Three times.
Three times they were repeated. Okay, so eggs and onions combination three times. So if you see here, the top combination is eggs, onions. So next top is, for suppose I'm taking eggs and fish. Okay. Next, we can see the topmost three combinations. Okay. So if you see topmost three combinations, we have eggs, onions, and fish, I guess. Onions, fish, right? So what is association is? Association is nothing but you take a data and you find out the relationship between different products. So I am running a supermarket, right? So what I came to know, eggs is the highest sold product. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to make sure that always there should be stock of eggs. And what I came to know that the people who are purchasing eggs are also purchasing onions. The people who are purchasing eggs are also purchasing fish. So what I have to do, I have to, if I have the stock of eggs, I have to maintain the stock of onions as well as I have to maintain the stock of fish. And next highest combination is eggs, onions, and fish. Okay. So association is nothing but taking different items from a data, identifying what is the relationship between different items inside the data is nothing but association. Okay. So association is used to do market basket analysis mainly. Fine. So if you see here we have taken a small example. So our customer data is only five, and we have only five items that are taken by the customers. But if you go to the data like Swiggy, Zomato, Amazon, okay, so there will be a lot of customers. Lot of customers will be purchasing the things and all. Fine. So what we do is we use this association to find out. We use this association to find out the relationship between different products, okay, items. And this association comes under unsupervised learning. Okay, so what type of problems we deal with unsupervised learning? First is association, and second one is clustering. So association means finding the association between different items in a data set. Okay, so now let us see the example of clustering. Okay, so what is clustering and what is the example of the clustering? Okay, so now let us see what is clustering. So come here, guys. So if you see, this clustering also comes under unsupervised learning. Okay, so the second one, clustering. So clustering, so for this clustering, what I'm doing, I'm taking one more data set. Okay, so go to our data sets folder. So this is the data set folder. So I have something called as cricket information. Let me see, where is that? So come here. So here I have a data set, guys. So if you see here, I have a data set. I have batsmen, total runs, out, number of balls, average, strike rate. Okay. So I have information of different batsmen, Kohli, Raina, Sharma, Varner, Dhawan, and also certain data is there. And even some bowlers also there. And also this is the information what I have. So what I'm doing is I'm taking I'm taking two things. Okay, so come here. So let me take like this. So consider this as my y-axis. Consider this as my x-axis. Okay. Okay. So this is my y. This is my x. Okay. So on y-axis, I'm taking average runs. Average run of different batsmen. And on x-axis, I'm taking average wickets. Okay. So when I have taken average runs and average wickets from a data set, and when I have plotted that one, okay, so come here, let us mark. So 10, consider this as 10 runs average. This is 20. This is 30. This is 40. This is 50. This is average one wicket, average two wickets, average three wickets, average four, average five. Okay. So when I plotted the data, so few points I got here and few points I had got here and a few points I got here and few points I got here. Okay. So now what I'm doing is, as all these points are near, what I'm doing is, let us consider I'm rounding those points and I'm naming it as cluster 1. All these points are near, so what I'm doing, I'm naming it as cluster 2. I'm mentioning as 2 guys. All these points are near, so what I'm doing, I'm naming as cluster 3. All these points are near, so I'm naming it as cluster 4. Okay, so now looking at this data, what can you understand? So can you tell any story regarding cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3 or cluster 4? What you can identify? If you observe, come to cluster 1. If you see this cluster 1, their average runs are more and average wickets are less. So more runs, less wickets. That means who are those? Those are nothing but batters or batsmen. This is cluster 1. Second, cluster 2. Their average wickets are less. Their average runs also less. So who are those? Those might be poor performers or newcomers. Okay. Next, if you see cluster 3, their runs are less, less runs, more wickets. So less runs, more wickets. That means who are those? Those are bowlers, right? So if you see these people, this cluster 4 people, so if you observe, they have their average runs are more. Okay, it's considerably good, and they have good average wickets also. So average runs are good, average wickets are good. So who might be those? They are nothing but all rounders. Okay. So what is clustering? Clustering means nothing but taking a data and making the data into different clusters. So this is cluster 1. So suppose, for example, if you are IPL, so think that you are the manager of the IPL franchise or you are owning your own IPL franchise. So if you want to pick up a batsman, what you will do? You will you will pick up from cluster 1. If you want to pick up a all-rounder, what you will do? You will pick up from cluster 4. If you want to pick up a bowler, what you will do? You will pick up from cluster 3. Right. So similarly, if you take the real world example, for example, I run a bank. Okay. So I want to issue the credit card. I don't know whom to issue the credit card. Right. So you will have lakhs of people. So what we will do, we will take the banking data and based upon certain features, what we will do, we will cluster them. So this group of people, if you issue credit card, they are not going to pay. This group of people, if you issue credit card also, they will not use. This group of people, if you issue credit card, they will use. So what is the thing? We will target those customers only who will use the credit card and who will pay us in time. So by doing so, what happens? Our time will be saved, our efforts will be saved, and business will become very easy, right? So that is what clustering is, guys. And this clustering comes under unsupervised learning. So this clustering comes under unsupervised learning. Fine. So now, if you see what is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, what type of problems it deals with is, if you see supervised learning, it deals with two types of problem statements. One is regression and another is classification. So what is regression? Regression is finding a numeric output. How many runs India will score? Okay. So what would be the gold price? Find how much total marks a person will get. And classification. So classification, what type of problem statements it deals with? Finding a binary output, whether India will win the match or not, whether Modi will win the election or not. Okay. So both this regression and classification, it comes under supervised learning. And if you see, unsupervised learning deals with two types of problem statements. One is association and another is clustering. So what is association? Association means finding the patterns between different items in a data is nothing but association. So we had taken supermarket data and we had analyzed what is the relationship between different products in that supermarket, right? And another thing is clustering. So clustering also comes under unsupervised learning. So clustering, what we do, we take the data and we cluster them into different groups. Okay. So this clustering comes under unsupervised learning. Okay. So that is what supervised learning and unsupervised learning is. Fine. So